noticed that our refrigerator was just not keeping things as cold as it should. So we played with the thermostat a little bit, and then about 2 weeks later, we noticed that the freezer was not freezing as well either. So what we did was we went ahead and opened it up, and we found that the back panel here could actually be removed. And so, you know, I've never had to defrost this freezer. As long as I've had it, I've never had to defrost it. And you can see there's actually some ice caking up right there. So what we did was we went ahead and we removed that back panel, and then behind the panel was actually the whole thing. There's just a big block of ice. Went ahead and defrosted that, put everything back together, and it worked perfectly for a couple more weeks. But we're having the problem again. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go ahead and take the back panel off. We're going to go ahead and defrost it again, because I'm assuming there's a block of ice back there. And then we're going to replace the temperature probe in the freezer. So you can see we've already emptied out the freezer. We turned off the ice maker as well and emptied out all the ice. Back there was where the switch, behind this is where the switch was. And then now we're going to go ahead and turn off the power, and we're also going to remove some of this shelving. All right, so we went ahead and unscrewed the light bulb and removed the 2 screws that were on top. The ice is really just holding it in place, and there's also a ground wire that's up on the top. We're just going to pop that off. We did remove the bin just for the moment so that it was out of the way, but probably going to go ahead and slide that back in so it will catch some of the water as the ice defrosts. So we got the panel off. You can see it's caked with ice, and looks like it is definitely frozen in there. So we're going to go ahead and defrost all that ice. All right, so what we're going to use to defrost this really quick is this Wagner heat gun. If you don't have that, even a electric hair dryer would be good. So we're going to go ahead and just melt that ice off. This is going to get pretty messy, so we did slip that tray back in there on the bottom, and we also have a towel in front of us so that we can catch some of the water mess. This will take a little bit of time, but it's really the quickest way, other than just having it sit there and letting it defrost on its own. All right, so it's looking pretty good. I'm just going to go ahead and go in with a knife now and just chip away a little bit. Up there on the top, that's actually where the probe is going to go, so I want to make sure and chip away some of that ice. Also, when you're using the heat gun, you want to be careful, because there are still wires all over the place, and you want to make sure not to burn any of them. So we got about 95% of the ice melted. You just want to do that first, because 1, you want to have it cleared out, and 2, you don't want to be dealing with the water melting, the ice melting and making a big mess all over the floor when you're trying to work on it. You can see right here, this white piece right here, that's the probe that we're actually going to replace. What we're going to do is we're going to pull it out and then just cut a piece of it and splice it and then connect the new piece to it. So this is the temperature probe that we're going to replace. I actually got them in a bag of 5 off of Amazon. What we did was we went into the refrigerator and got our model number, and then went ahead and ordered them, making sure that we got the correct ones for our refrigerator. Bought these on Amazon. These are the connectors that we're actually going to use to connect the wires. So you can actually pull the wires apart, and then you're going to go ahead and strip a little bit of that wire there. And then you're going to go ahead and put the connectors on. Going to slip the connector on that. After you've stripped it, you're going to put...
Well, you connect the old one. You put it on first. Slip it on. Connect the old wire to the new wire.
Okay.
And you pull that back to where the connection, the little soldering, there's some solder in there. You put that on top of the connection, and you use your heat gun, and this is all shrink. It'll shrink right down to it and melt the soldering onto the wire.
With the other wire already on the other side?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So this was really kind of cheap, but it comes with a bunch of different sizes, so it's really cool that it's got that solder right there in the middle. Really helpful. All right, so you can see where we've cut the old one off. Here it is. It's got this clip. We'll put that clip on the new one. We went ahead and prepped the wires by stripping them back a little bit so some of the wire shows. And now we're just going to go ahead and hook up the new one. All right, here's the new one. You can see we've got them stripped, and we've got the connectors here ready to slide back up there. And remember that it's got the solder, and this is what we're going to heat up. Once we get them both in there, we're going to heat that up with the heating gun. All right, so we got one hooked up there. You can see we actually had to strip the wires just a little bit more, both wires. Got one in there. We have not done the soldering yet, but we're going to go ahead and hook the other one up. All right, so we went ahead and used the heating gun to solder the wires together. That's the new wire that's been, the new probe that's been added to it. And you can see earlier I showed you that clip. That's where the probe is clipped back on there. We're going to go ahead and put the shelf back on, or the panel back on, and then we're going to hook that ground on to the top of the panel. So as we were defrosting the rest of the freezer, what we noticed down here on the bottom is there's actually another probe. There's a little compartment right over here to the side that just slips right out of there. Since we've already gone through the whole defrosting process, we're just going to go ahead and replace that. All right, so you can see we went ahead and replaced that new part. Now we're going to go ahead and put the panel back on. So we're going to go ahead and replace that third probe that is in the refrigerator, just making sure that we've got the whole thing running well. Not sure which one's gone out, so replacing all three would be fine. This refrigerator is already over 10 years old, so I might as well give it a shot before we trash it. If you wanted to know where you find the model number in our refrigerator, this is where we find all the refrigerator information. It's the General Electric, and then it's got the model number, serial number, or whatever. And so now we're going to go over to the probe. All right, so now we're going to replace that third probe, which we found in this back corner of the refrigerator. We had to take a couple screws out, and then we pulled it up and turned it, and so there's where the probe is, and we're just going to do the same thing as we did with the other two. All right, so it's been 5 hours since we put the sensors in, and the refrigerator seems to be working well. We want the refrigerator to be 37 to 40 degrees. That seems to be working well. And now we're checking out the freezer. So far the freezer is at 2 degrees. We have this indoor-outdoor thermometer, and so it's actually telling me what the temperature is inside. I got this probably about 5 or 6 years ago. Don't know where I got it. I think I got it at Walmart. It's probably some great deal. But anyways, freezer seems to be working fine. Here's my little sensor that I have in here. Just got to remember to turn my ice back on, and that's ready to go. Okay, so overall it was like a $20 fix. Paid $10 for the temperature sensors, and then another $10 for the solder connectors. I know that we're good to go for at least a couple more weeks. If we find that it's freezing up again and not working, then we'll probably just give up and get a new refrigerator. But for right now, we're good. So I hope you found this video helpful, and thanks for watching.